Today we're taking a look at the CUBOT P20, a budget phone with great performance and probably one of the best in its price range. First of all, we're going to look at the specs and then we're going to go into a bit more detail. So this phone has a 6.18 inch Full HD screen that's running a resolution of 2246 by 1080. It's powered by the MT6750T CPU, that's 8 cores at 1.5 GHz a core. You get 4 GB of RAM with 64 gigs of internal memory. You get a 20 megapixel plus 2 megapixel dual camera on the rear with a 13 megapixel camera on the front. The battery's got a huge 4000 mAh battery and it comes with Android 8.0. It's got all of the usual sensors including a fingerprint sensor. It's got Bluetooth 4.0 and supports 2G, 3G and 4G. I decided to go with the glossy black version, but it's also available in denim dark blue or twilight black. First thing I notice here is the fingerprint marks I'm leaving on the phone, and this is because I've gone with the glossy black. This is pretty much the same for all glossy black devices, so keep this in mind if that's something that irritates you. The phone itself is a nice looking phone in my opinion, but it does look very similar to the iPhone X, the only real difference being a thinner notch on the top and a fingerprint sensor on the back. We've got very minimal bezel at the top of the screen, but there is a bit of a chin on the bottom. Side bezels are not the thinnest I've seen, but they're not too big either. Now for a phone this size, it's actually quite light, coming in at 167 grams. It's got a plastic body with a metal frame. If we take a look at the software, it's running Android 8.0 Oreo. I quite like the launcher you get with it. You can swipe left for Google Now, swipe up for the app drawer. Swiping down in the middle doesn't bring up settings, but of course if you swipe down from the top you get them anyway. The phone is very responsive and it has been running very well during testing. I've had some budget phones be quite sluggish and this hasn't suffered with any lag or stuttering within the Android menus. The phone screen is pretty good to look at, the colours are great and the picture is nice and crisp. Of course this is no comparison to something like a Samsung AMOLED, but for a budget phone in this price bracket it is a very good screen. The notch display is turned off automatically when the phone goes into landscape mode, so this is great for apps and games as we don't lose any of the screen. And the speakers of the phone are pretty much okay. It goes reasonably loud and even at full volume the quality is good. One thing I've noticed though is bass levels are very low, so for anyone that likes to listen to a lot of music with their phone speaker, this is probably going to frustrate you, so I probably wouldn't recommend it. I ran the phone through Antutu benchmark and it got an overall score of 54,698. We got 23,562 for CPU, 11,769 for the GPU, 14,612 for the UX multitasking and 4,755 for memory. Now when it comes to gaming, of course this won't compete with the latest flagships as it's a budget phone with the MT6750. It isn't the best CPU, but it copes fine for mobile gaming. You won't be able to play all of the latest games in full detail, but you'll still be able to play and enjoy them. I tested PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and it played fine. It was enjoyable and smooth, but one thing to note is I did have to play it in low detail. If I start turning up the graphic settings, I do then start to notice a little bit of stutter and that takes the enjoyment out of the game, but in low detail it did play perfectly fine. Pretty much all of the other games I've tested on played fine. Real Racing 3, another popular game, this played very well, although every now and then there was a very minor stutter, only minor though, and it didn't really affect my gameplay. In terms of camera, it's a pretty average camera and what I was expecting from this. It takes photos and videos well enough, but it's nothing special that's going to blow you away. For selfies and photos of people, the facial recognition worked well and was able to focus quite quickly. When focusing on objects, however, I did find it to be much slower, so this could be a pain for some of you. It has a pro mode where you can control ISO and contrast and more. The camera's low light performance isn't great either, but you probably aren't going to find one that is in this price bracket. So overall, I would recommend this phone for the price range. It's a budget phone that provides you with a perfectly capable device for a great price. As I mentioned earlier though, if you do listen to a lot of music through your phone speakers, the low bass may be a problem for you, and if one of your main requirements are a phone for photography, then I'd probably recommend spending a little bit more and getting a better camera. That being said though, for a budget phone for yourself or for your kids, then this is the perfect choice. Great performance in Android, and it can even do a bit of gaming. The MT6750 isn't the best CPU on the market, but it's doing a great job in this phone. And when it comes to price of this phone, it does tend to fluctuate quite a lot. I've placed links down in the description below for anyone that wants to purchase or get more information. I've linked to GearBest as it's free international shipping wherever you are in the world. The price normally sits at around $150, but we have seen a few offers recently dropping it down to $100. So that's pretty much it for my review today, but of course if there's anything I've missed or you want to know more, please just ask down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.